Welcome everybody to our January DataHub Town Hall. We're happy to see everybody here. Let me share my screen and we will get on into it. For those of you, if I've not met you, I'm Maggie. I'm the Community Product Manager for DataHub. We've probably seen each other in Slack. Let's dig into our community updates. We have, as of this morning, 2,220 people in our Slack community. We're seeing between 60 to 85 folks joining every week. So we're real, like our community is growing much more rapidly. It's super exciting to see. As a reminder, we have our office hours on Tuesdays. It's really just a half hour for you all to come in and ask any questions that might be on your mind for some live support. We also love collaboration. So if you're looking for contribution opportunities, or if you want to show off anything you've been working on, jump into those channels. And then we announced this last month, but we're really starting to see these pick up. We have two new channels for advice around data governance and then metadata modeling. So some really cool stuff happening there. And you guys know me, I'm all about teamwork. So let's keep that going. And then Shirshanka and I, yes, we still are presenting at Data Council. It was meant to be yesterday and today. COVID had other ideas for us, so that will now be in March. If you're in the Austin area or if you're coming to the Data Council conference, let me know and love to meet up with you. So let's do some quick community shout outs. We have 3 new organizations that have officially adopted DataHub. So super exciting to see folks from Stash, Moloko, and Optum all really driving that adoption. As you may know, I reach out to every single person that joins our Slack community, asking them what brought them there, what they're kind of looking to do within the community. And it's really, I continue to hear again and again and again that folks are seeing that companies in their similar industry or their growth stage have adopted DataHub. So just by us as a community really showing like who's within the community, it's really driving growth in a lot of really great ways. So shout out to these folks, really grateful for all of your hard work and partnership. And if your organization has adopted DataHub and we are not featuring your logo on our project site, reach out to me. Let's get that going. And then other shout out, this is a new one. So in our advice data governance channel, we're seeing some really awesome conversations around governance best practices or useful resources. So shout out to these folks who are driving truly a different kind of conversation in our community. It's really exciting to see that DataHub is not just a Slack instance for folks to come and troubleshoot, but also to kind of talk about how do we do data governance these days and how are we successful with that. Another thing is that this is a big shout out to Danny Lee. So Danny shared this tweet thread from a woman named Shreya around different ways to contribute to OSS. And I could not have said this better myself with Shreya's threads. So if you are excited about DataHub, but maybe you don't have the bandwidth to contribute to code, or you just want to find new ways to contribute, there are tons of ways that you can help out. So anything from technical writing to translation to advocacy and education. I would love to hear thoughts from folks. I'm always eager to help others help us. So please feel free to reach out if you're looking for ways to contribute that's not just contributing code, even though that is also a great way to contribute. And then Danny went out and did just that, right? So he shared this in our community where he, I think just kind of for fun, put together a flow of our auth, of DataHub auth. And when I saw it, I realized 2 things. One, I did not realize how complicated our auth was, but 2, I realized, wow, this is a great reminder of how impactful it is to present information in a variety of ways, not just technical docs, but diagrams, color coding, plain language information. So Danny, thank you for that great contribution. All right, moving over to project updates. It's been a little over a month since we last covered this. So in that time, we've had 5 different releases. We've had 110 commits, so continuing on with our 100 commit per month rate. We have 34 contributors from about 19, just shy of 20 companies, and then a ton of first-time contributors. So shout out to these folks from the community that have contributed, and then anyone that's in bold, it was their first time contributing. So we're still seeing, a ton of great momentum in getting new folks within the project. And then just some kind of high level things. Shirshanka is going to go into more detail, but just a heads up, we do have the Tableau connector coming soon. We have that in PR or in review right now. We have Elasticsearch as a new metadata source, as well as data lake files. There's a new Java emitter. So for folks who are looking for ways to emit metadata, maybe not through Python, we now have our Java emitter. And then super exciting, last town hall, John demoed our UI-based ingestion. This is now available in Quick Start. So for folks that want to ingest metadata via the UI, give it a whirl. We're super excited to hear your feedback. And then just some general improvements around nested schemas, UI readability, and data profiling performance. Last but not least for me, our roadmap check-in. If you have not seen it yet, we have our Q1 roadmap at this website down here. And this is where we're going to be publicly sharing, what's on our backlog, or what's planned for the quarter, what's in progress, and then what's completed. So if you click into any of these, you'll get a better understanding of what the scope is, what's not in scope, what are stretch goals for the quarter. But we're really just trying to drive transparency in what we're working on, and how that actually ties back to community requests. So you'll notice that this is in our same feature request portal. So that's it for me. Shirshanka, let's go over to some other project updates.
Right. So maybe Maggie, just the previous slide. If you notice, some of the things that we are planning to do that are in progress includes obviously work on impact analysis. So that's work that's coming very soon to the front end, as well as improvements in the back end. Column level lineage, we're feeling pretty good about the models, and we're going to release that soon. And data containers and domains, we're going to share that later today. But data quality checks, that's been something that we've been working on. And so happy to announce that the models are looking really good. So if you move to the next slide, we went back and forth on this a little bit, but here's what we finally think is going to keep us in the best position for the future. Assertions are going to become a top level entity, and they will have, types associated with them. So you could have a data set level assertion, a column level assertion, and in the future, even cross data set assertions. Obviously, that means they have one-to-end relationships to either data sets or to fields within the data sets. And then they can have multiple types like range constraints, min-max constraints, custom queries, things like that. And then when these assertions run, you actually get time series metadata. So you get assertion results that actually link the assertion to the data set or the partition of the data set on which it ran. We're going to roll out integration with Great Expectations first, and then we'll probably do a DBT test. That's another common thing that people in the community use. This should be landing next week. I'm super excited. It's already looking pretty good internally, but we're going to bring it out early next week. So very excited about this being so close to done.
Yeah, and one thing on the Great Expectations side, we are actively partnering with the Great Expectations community, and are super excited about getting some really strong feedback from folks that are in the DataHub community that are using Great Expectations, and then folks that are in the Great Expectations community that can start using DataHub. So if you are using Great Expectations and want to help us kind of stress test this a little bit, please reach out.
And one more caveat, we're going to first roll out model plus integration plus API, and then fast follow with the changes in the UI to actually see the results. Cool. All right, so the other thing that has been baking are platform instances, and I'm sure you've kind of run into this issue as you've started to use DataHub more and more in your companies, that the way we've model, the data set identifier, or the EARN, as we call it, is a little bit restrictive because it only talks about platforms and then names within the platforms and then a fabric. So for example, if you have two Redshifts that you're connecting to, or usually it's more like two Postgres's or two MySQLs that we see in the community, then you're out of luck, because when you try to connect both these two ingestion recipes to your two different databases, the EARNs look the same. And so you can get conflicts in the identifiers. So happy to announce that we are about to release, the code is already in, so it's going to be in the next release, a solution for this that does not require you to upgrade your DataHub instance, which was one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we were backwards compatible with previously released DataHub versions as well. So next slide. What we're doing with platform instances is allowing another optional field to drop into the EARN as an opt-in feature. So for example, if you've got two ingestion recipes, now a lot of the SQL sources already have support once we cut the PyPy release for this additional configuration called platform instance. So all you have to do in your ingestion recipe is drop in the platform instance that you would like it to be called. So you could pick a name, an ID like marketing, or an ID like finance. It's important to think of these as IDs because they're actually stable. They need to be stable over time. And what happens on the EARN is that the platform instance shows up as part of the name. So that was kind of our way to not break previously generated EARN styles and not to kind of force you to redo the world just because we rolled out support for platform instances. So moving on, as you can see in this case, the EARN will have a finance marker and a marketing marker. And so you can now distinguish between the two IDs. What does this mean for you? It's rolling out in the next release, which will likely be 0.824.1 PyPy, or it could even be 0.825.0, depending on when the server release goes out. If you go and check the source pages, you'll be able to see if your connector supports it. We've got a little handy logo there to show you if it's platform instance capable or not. So all you need to do is configure the platform instance in your recipe and run it. And importantly, data sets are not isolated instances. They are actually connected to by other things, for example, charts or dashboards or pipelines. And so you actually will have to change those other recipes as well to teach them about this new platform instance that you just created. So to help with that, we've also added support for migrations in the DataHub CLI. So what you would have to do if you have previously generated entities is run the migration command. This is what it looks like: DataHub migrate, data platform to instance, the platform that you're migrating, and the instance that you're migrating the entity to. The nice thing about this script is that first, it'll migrate all your old metadata from the old entities to the new entities. So this includes documentation, tags, glossary terms, all of the good stuff that you've added. It also fixes up relationships from other entities to these new entities. So if you had relationships from the old going into the old entities, you'll see those relationships get migrated over to the new entities. And then optionally, depending on what configurations you put in, it'll either hard delete the old entities or soft delete or even keep them. So you can kind of play around with it, feel good about it before you finally say bye-bye to the old entities. So that's rolling out and it's already in the code base, and we should be cutting a release early Monday, and you should be able to start using it. Next slide. If we are feeling brave enough, I can do a quick demo. What do you think, Maggie? Do we have time for it?
How quick are we talking?
2 minutes.
Uh-huh. All right, let's give it a try.
Hold them to that. Start the timer.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Okay. So we can see my screen here. This is my local data hub. It's got, I ingested Snowflake earlier today, usual non-instance Snowflake. So, you've got the top level Snowflake, and then demo pipeline is the DB name. Within that is the schema name public, and then a bunch of entities. I went in and actually wrote descriptions for one of these entities, the famous EARN field, right? Added it. All my consumers should be able to see this documentation now. Also added a tag over here. But then I realized I've got multiple Snowflake instances, and I would rather call this Snowflake instance something else. So what I do is go into my Snowflake YAML, add in a platform instance. I want to call this snow_warehouse. And then I run DataHub ingest. By the way, I did try this out on the UI-based ingestion framework, and I have to say it's really slick. Great job, John. It looks amazing. But in this particular case, since I'm going to be doing a lot of changes quickly, and I want to show you what's going on, opting for the old school terminal. All right, let's see what happened. So now we go into Snowflake, and there's actually Snow Warehouse and the old demo pipeline. So we've got the new entities that we just ingested. And so if I walk down the Snow Warehouse line, I see, the public and then the all entities thing. But oh, sad, I don't have my earn in there, my beautiful description, I lost it. And the tags are also gone. So thankfully, we have the migration script, which I can now run. DataHub migrate, data platform to instance, platform Snowflake, instance, Snow Warehouse. There we go. I'm being brave, not doing any dry runs. It's giving me some helpful hints like, hey, these are the earns I'm going to be migrating over, and they're going to look like these. And that looks about right. So I'm going to say, yes, please do this. As you can see, it's soft deleting these old earns. There's also a hard delete option if you're feeling exceptionally brave. I would recommend against that until you're really feeling good about this. Now let's go back, see what happened. All right, at the top level, I no longer have that confusing old entity. Everything has been migrated over to the Snow Warehouse instance. And as I go in, look, my all entities thing has my description over here, and the tags have migrated over cleanly as well. If we had lineage to other charts and stuff, that would have migrated over as well. So really glad that this is out there. It's a big bear off our back. Platform instances has been something that people have asked for multiple times. And so you can now connect to all your MySQL instances, not just one. So the future for platform instances is to really think of the platform as a container, as a type of a system, and then instances show up as entities within that platform. So a data platform instance will actually get its own earn. In fact, if you look carefully at the kind of metadata events we are generating under the covers, they actually include a data platform instance aspect that is attached to a data set. And a table or a data set or a logical data set can either attach to a platform, so it's kind of like fuzzy, it's generic, it's top level, or it can directly attach to a platform instance. And we're leaving it open for now because we do acknowledge that there are certain kinds of data sets that are going to be always logical. And there'll be certain kinds of data sets that are going to be very specific and attached to a physical instance. So you want to leave that flexibility in the model. So what you'll see coming out is source connector coverage. So as you'll see the connectors kind of getting that platform instance stamp on them, enabled stamp on them over the next week or so. You'll start seeing platform instance filters showing up on the left side of the rail, like where you get that facet to select on platform. You'll also see platform instance show up. And then you'll see the earns starting to move towards GUID style earns. So we want to make them less verbose in how they look and also give them a little more flexibility so we can do these kind of changes in the future without kind of breaking the world.